Hey, it's Senpai Grayson, and welcome to an episode of
Blast or Trash,
where we take a quick look at a legendary, see what it does, and decide whether we should keep it or throw it away. Today, we have the Molly Gaines Minesweeper. Its unique property is that landing a critical hit has a 25% chance to drop a micro grenade. It explodes after a short period of time. It has the flavor text of Brain Blast, and the rest really doesn't matter because a lot of that stuff is randomly generated. So what we're testing is the unique property of the micro grenade. I wanted this test to be straightforward, and I wanted to make sure that we could see everything that this mod was doing. So I removed any weapons that were elemental, had crazy splash damage, or just had a unique effect of its own. The other thing I wanted to do is respec, making sure we have no skill points attached so we can see the raw potential of the mod. I also tested with a couple different weapon types, pistols, shotguns, and assault rifles, and also the different pellet counts, and see if each pellet could count towards that 25% and drop more grenades, and also is there any damage mitigation. So we'll check that out. Alright, so I wanted to start by using a single fire weapon and getting some headshots. It takes a couple shots, but we don't really get a grenade to come out of an enemy until we kill this guy. Right there, we have a secondary explosion, a little bit over 9,000 damage, and it's pretty significant. However, I'm noticing the effect does not happen too often. So I'm thinking that high pellet count guns or fast firing weapons might be the way to go. So let's test that out. Okay, so first we start with a weapon that is just 2 pellets. We have an Atlas assault rifle, and almost every time we shoot this enemy, we get grenades. One other thing that I noticed with this is the grenades were doing about 5,000 damage, and the additional ones were only doing like 1,300. So there's a chance that it's halving my damage first, and then additional grenades will stack on top of it. This could be a pretty awesome thing though, because if we have 13 grenades that pop out of a single shot, then we're talking about 1,300 damage over and over and over again. That's assuming that we can't go any lower than that. So before I tested any more of this, I wanted to test one last thing. Can these grenades hurt you? So, giving that a go, it looks like they can. And they do a pretty significant amount of damage to you, which could be a very negative thing. It depends on how much distance you're keeping from the enemy. Okay, so I thought I'd give a Jacob shotgun with 17 pellets a try. Right there we have 3 grenades that fire off, but we don't get a chance to actually hit somebody with it. And right there we get 3,000 damage. So you can see that it's proccing the grenades pretty often, and overall it's just like a extra bit of damage. Everything stacks up quite a bit. Higher pellet counts drop more grenades, but it seems to have a bit of a drop off. The only thing left to do really is to test this against bosses to see if the grenades will drop and hit them as often, and also bosses that hover over you like Grave Ward. This was kind of a tough enemy to consistently hit crit shots with a pistol, so I often switch to the shotgun. One thing I noticed is when the grenades were proccing on this boss is that they were doing some fire damage, and he's resistant to that. So we end up struggling quite a bit to deal damage with this actual mod. It's kind of problematic. So what I wanted to do is try putting points into the tree where I gain incendiary damage and splash damage. It's also allowed the grenades to crit, so I wanted to give that a test. Going in, we hit this guy in the head, and it gives me 11k crit, so confirmed. All right, so we go in, we start fighting Captain Tron again, and we're doing a lot more damage. It's just noticeable right off the bat that we're taking chunks out of them, our crits are doing more, and grenades are dropping everywhere. It's kind of insane, but it's great. It's great. Even though he's resisting it, it's still adding to the ticks of damage that we have. Overall, this is just raw damage output that's coming from this mod, and so it's pretty fantastic, and I can't, you know, doubt this in any way of being a good mod, and I feel like if you do pick it up, it's worth giving a go. Another thing to mention about this mod is it does not only proc on shots, it will also proc on grenade crits. So if you're going a grenade build, it will be handy no matter what. Also, you'll notice that when I'm shooting him with the Gatling guns, I'm getting grenades to drop as well. So there's a lot of versatility with this. All right, so I wanted to try this against Grave Ward. Considering he's standing vertically, I wanted to know if the grenades were going to take effect and actually land inside of him. And what I found was we were getting a lot more critical strikes, and you can actually hear the grenades exploding inside of him. So it is working as intended and actually hitting the enemy, even though you would think they would drop down into the abyss. So here's the rest of this fight. Check it out. Not too bad considering I'm using a legendary Atlas weapon. I could fire indefinitely because of the skills that I had on. All right, so here we are. We got to give it a verdict. Is it a blast or trash? I'll have to say Molly's Gains Minesweeper is a blast. So amazing. Honestly, it's a mod that gives you free damage. When you crit, you get a grenade that can do anywhere from 1,500 to 10k damage. And honestly, if you have a build that shoots super quick or grants a chance to do more crit damage and you're aiming for their head anyway, or your grenades can crit, it's just gonna be amazing. Just use it. If you have it, use it. Don't get rid of it. You're going to make a build with it at some point in time. There's much worse out there. You want to use this. Promise you that. So if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because I'll have more just like this. I'll be covering all the artifacts that are legendary, all the mods, all the weapons, and it's my goal to get through all of them so that you know, is it good? Is it bad? Is it a blast? Or is it trash? Until next time, peace.